thank you, Holly, for having us here today to plan our first lesson study. I'm just going to go over with the lesson study protocol. We're going to start by talking about the purpose, key questions. We'll have you share a little bit of information with us and then run through the protocol for lesson study. So the purpose of lesson study is to ensure that our interventionists and coaches have learning opportunities in evidence, research-based interventions. Interventionists and coaches will refine their practices in the SIM interventions using the lesson study protocol.
So in the work that we're doing together around our purpose, we have some research questions. Our key questions are: has lesson study provided an opportunity to examine, build, and share our knowledge about literacy instruction? And has lesson study provided an opportunity to strengthen the implementation of the CIM literacy interventions? So now, when we begin our lesson study protocol, our first step in getting started would be for us to choose our norms. So is there a norm in particular that you're thinking about that you'd like us to consider, or does anybody want to put one on the table that they're thinking about?
When I had been thinking about it, I think for me, just because this group is the first time that I'll be seeing them, my thought was just the putting ideas on the table from all of us, just because it's the first time that I can learn from those suggestions as well.
Okay. So another piece in step one is, Holly, you're going to give us a brief statement about the intervention itself.
So I have a group of 3 third grade boys here that the teacher came to me and they're reading at a level J/K, and which is well below their grade level right now. So it's 3 boys, and I'm hoping to do a guided reading plus lesson with them. And again, their first lesson would be today. We have not yet had a chance to meet, so.
Oh, for us. All right, so our step number 2 would be to discuss the goals. And this is where Holly will share the collaborative goals sheet with us.
So in using the collaborative goals sheet, it really helped me to kind of look across the students' abilities as far as reading and writing, and really choose those things that they have in control and then what yet they need to do to be successful. I started by looking at an overall reading goal, which I noticed from their readings that they were having trouble or weren't quite as efficient with those multisyllabic words, and that's something I really wanted to focus on overall to help improve their comprehension. So what they have currently is they're really good at rereading to make sense once they get to an error, so they have that, but then I'm still noticing that where they're making the errors many times are those longer words or those word chunks that I want them to become more solid with. Mm-hmm. So I just said to Control Next that they need to work on solving those multisyllabic words by noticing the parts within the words to help them be more efficient. So I have, as the interventionist, it's a little tricky because I'm not the one necessarily scoring these students, but I do have their IRLs from their classroom teacher, which I was analyzing those, and then I did pull these students one time to just assess them on some of the rhyme patterns. So I just had them come in and do a list of words with me, and then I was able to kind of pinpoint which rhymes they were having the most struggle with, and that's my hope to kind of add that too into the word work piece of Guided Reading Plus. Okay, so that was reading. Writing, I was, again with writing, I was really just wanting them to solidify that knowledge of those word patterns and be able to write them fluently in their writing as well. So currently, something they have going really well for them, all 3 are really able to articulate words slowly to hear those sounds, so I'm hoping to be able to play off of that when we get to some of these patterns. But then what I want to work on them with is being able to break those words into onset and rhyme using those patterns, the common patterns that we have. And then I was looking at just some of the orthography, and just they have that sense that letters come together in that sequence left to right, and they say those words slowly to get them to match. But again, they just have a kind of a struggle with analyzing those unknown words. So I just really want to work on that piece to aid in their fluency and then again with their comprehension.
Okay.
Great. So let's go ahead and take a look at the lesson study protocol. Thank you for sharing all that information with us, Holly. So for step 3, we have plan a lesson. So now I heard you mention that we're going to be doing guided reading plus, right?
That's my hope, yes.
Okay, so then we can pull that template out.
Okay.
And because you're the interventionist or you're the host teacher, would you be comfortable documenting the planning on that template for us?
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, great. All right, so we have the Guided Reading Plus template. Holly's going to be recording on that template for us. And then looking at the third bullet, this is when we are going to be using the blank template that all of us have in capturing any kind of questions that we have as we're planning or any kind of debate that we have, and just capturing that on the blank template for using while we observe later.
Okay.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our planning. Does anybody have any thoughts to get us started?
So I'm wondering, so we're going to be doing, we're going to be observing phase 1 of Guided Reading Plus
Yes.
today. Okay, so should we just start with that first column, the fluent writing, phonological awareness, and phonics?
I think so.
Okay, so when we think about the words for fluent writing, I know that you said that you worked on some rhyming analysis with them. So do you think that piece, are there words that maybe they would want to firm up from that analysis, or parts, rhymes that they, that maybe weren't fully known?
Sure. Well, I mean, I see that on one of the students, there was some erasing on a couple. So like, I'm wondering if that's quite as known as
Okay,
as I think it might be for him. And that would be that ACK pattern, the
Okay.
ACK.
okay.
So I'm not sure. I also was thinking of checking out the continuum though to see for JK what they suggest for word work too.
Yeah, and I'm wondering too, just because, we're thinking about, what are some of those high frequency words that they might need to firm up.
I wonder if we look at their writing, if we notice anything in there, which you guys all have a copy of that as well.
Okay.
It's behind their running records.
Okay.
Can I see your, yes, 34 most common, do we have a copy of that one?
You do not.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. The A, he used, I'm looking at Eduardo. He
I
has
do.
playing, I was playing, and I don't know how he did with that AY, even in pay.
And he did, oh no, that's Brayden's.
Yeah, I see that too, Jackie.
He did not get that one. Oh yeah, he did. He did get that one right, sorry.
Okay.
In pay, he had it.
And it might have been the ING at the end,
But
that,
that
That
might
threw
be, yeah, but maybe that would be something just to check, since he does have it
Right.
misspelled in his writing.
what about the ACK? He's talking about hacking the computer, but
Oh.
he's using.
Yeah, he is, look at that,
Yep.
yeah. He's got,
And he's the one that erased on
HAKE.
that too. Oh no, he didn't. That's funny.
so even,
It will.
so what I'm thinking is, even just taking some easy, like the word make, might be a good word. To see if because you'd be able to build off that to, oh no, we want to do, oh no, we don't want make, we want act, right?
Right.
Cause that's.
Oh,
what-
yeah, he's
yes.
using, yeah.
Yep,
But there's even some like Edward, and I don't know how much of this is language, I'm not sure of history either, but like the beast halves instead of has, that's interesting to me. And if you had, and will for him is WELL. So there definitely are some of those pieces that he,
What was that last one you just said with the vowel?
well for will, but then he
Okay.
does use it correctly down here too.
This little guy, Brayden,
Mhm.
did is DED. So we might have something common there with short vowel. I don't,
Yeah, because when I opened the continuum, Holly, like you suggested before, I
Yep.
opened it to level J.
Okay,
And the first example it gives is recognize and write many high frequency words.
I saw that too.
So, I guess, do we wanna pick a couple high frequency words and bring them to fluency? Would everybody
I
be
think
okay
so.
with that?
Yeah. I would.
So on our blank planning template, I wonder, do we ask a question of, should we do like a family in the fluent writing, or should we do high frequency words? Is that a question we have? Cause I feel like we're going back and forth with that.
and do we wanna see what they're gonna encounter in their book? I don't know. I think that is a good question, maybe we wanna document that as one of our points.
I don't know, what do you guys think?
To
Do we wanna
notice.
do some fast fluent writing with high frequency words, or do you wanna do some?
I think
Group
looking
words
back
together.
at your goal of breaking words into onset and rhyme,
Wouldn't follow the
we want,
high frequency words
Right.
as much.
However, if we look at the guide sheet and we think about that phonological awareness, we could still pick out some of those words for fluent writing, but then we could add in, I mean, this is where the goal is for students to hear and manipulate larger units of sound. So there, we might be able to throw in a word family.
That's what I was thinking too, that we could maybe it isn't a question, then maybe we do both.
both
Right.
parts, yeah.
What do you think about that then?
I think so, because the way that this is laid out for Guided Reading Plus, it talks about how you would do both of those together, or you would do more of, well, and or. So really you could do all three components,
Yeah.
but
Right.
I don't know for time if we want to do all three components today, especially, because I feel like that's just throwing a lot at them too.
Be your first day.
Well,
Yeah.
and like Jackie, like when you were talking about seeing that text, putting our eyes on the text, maybe that's when vocabulary will even pop in there, so.
Right. And we could add that.
Yeah.
So maybe our plan could be to start with, for planning purposes, start with a couple of high frequency words. My brain goes to have because the one little guy for sure, or has, I guess, either one, and then also do some of those onset rhyme, or one onset rhyme.
Right, and maybe here, is where they're practicing writing for fluency, but maybe here you're working with some magnetic, like you're building and you're having them read and it's more oral.
Yeah,
I don't know, what do you think about that?
I do. I like that idea.
So why don't we just get some words down
Yep.
here that we think.
I am gonna document on mine as we do that we've had a lot of discussion about this. So this
Yeah.
was kind of a debatable topic for us, so just
Mhm.
to remember to reflect on that as we come back.
Yes.
And I guess my question too is, so what's the difference between this one, the phonological awareness, and the phonics piece? Like, is the onset and rhyme more of that phonics piece because it's letter and word work, or is it more of,
What
I
page are you on,
think,
Julie?
when I think of
175.
175, for me, when I think of this phonological awareness piece, I'm thinking more about that hearing and manipulating sounds.
okay,
Like the sounds of words, where here, this is more building building words, taking words apart, like through writing,
Sure.
maybe, and even with magnetic letters.
Mhm.
But this is more I think this is more about, can they hear that? Can they
Okay.
hear maybe the difference between hack and make,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, these two.
Okay. So then I would be doing more of this though, right? Do you think?
I don't know, what do you think? Do you think, asking them to hear some of those differences and playing with the words that way, or showing them more?
I almost feel like solidifying before I'm asking them to hear differences, because I'm not sure that is as solid, the ACK, as he maybe thinks that it is for him.
Okay,
I guess I would lean more toward the phonics work with breaking it and seeing that part
okay.
and maybe being able to manipulate into some other, back to
I
set.
wonder if it could be as easy as putting in like a prompt, if you're doing like an ACK or an AIC. Could it be as simple as, build the word make, okay, build the word take, build the word shake. What's the part that sounds the same in each word?
Mm-hmm.
So then
You're actually hitting on
both.
both of those pieces
So you
then.
can have them break it, build it, you can have them change their first chunk, and then you can actually I almost wonder, just getting them to identify the sound that's the same in each,
Right.
if that would,
Mhm.
what do you guys think, or do you wanna just focus on the one and just practice that breaking and the visual piece of the parts?
So I was just seeing if, yeah, so ache was a known part. Do I work with that first because they have that one solidly, just to show them that manipulation and to show them the hearing piece of it? Like, do I go there? And today just work with the ache part and really just show them the method of breaking those words and noticing those parts.
Yeah,
And then, like you said, okay, build this word, because they're gonna be able to do that with success then.
Oh, that I think is such a good idea, because you're just, their mind, their learning is freed up just to the breaking of the words. Just to get into that practice
Okay.
and the routines.
Yep.
What do you think, Jackie?
I like that idea.
so we're gonna let you write for a minute,
Okay.
Holly, so you can
Okay.
get that thinking down on paper.
Jace's writing, I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't really connect, but they was one of his words that he does not have. Well. But there.
We could still do it though, just to, again, it might be successful, and especially with him.
And Braden doesn't either, they both did anyway.
Okay. That, and then we'll build using ache. Talk about what sounds the same, and then show them how to break the words into chunks, into those pieces. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, what's our next step, everybody?
Book.
so yeah,
I pulled a bunch of J's. I know they're JK, but I'm not sure where on the continuum they are yet, so I just pulled J's for today to, again, give us some success if nothing else. I grabbed one for everybody actually, so I don't know if we wanna just look through it a little bit,
okay,
to kind of see what might lend itself best. I toyed with like the enormous watermelon. I said, okay, those are really big words. That would be great to kind of work on those, but I'm not sure if that's too big right now to kind of jump into that. And then the other ones I just grabbed that I thought might be enticing to them. I mean, and like this one has lake, so if I wanted to tie that word work into the reading to bring that out as well.
Is lake in there or not?
Lake is in here.
But in your word?
In my no, but it can be.
No, I think you should leave it out, so
Yeah.
that gives them an
Oh.
opportunity to practice.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Or do you wanna put it in the word book?
No, I agree.
Sorry.
Nope. But and that's just an idea. I mean, that's just one word. So, but I thought it would give them a little bit of, biggest. It's still kind of on a smaller scale looking at those multisyllabic words. Maybe enormous is a little too big at this point for the other text. And I think, like, I know something that I struggle with when we get into this level of text is the timepiece of the lesson, because
reading the text.
Yeah, the
Takes a long
texts are
time.
so much longer, obviously, at this
Mhm.
level than they are at a D.
Right.
So do we come up with a plan right now in case we get into a situation like that?
I would like that.
Okay, so I've tried a couple things. I've tried the incomplete, not finishing the text until the next day, which I think is hard because you're trying to do your phases. But something that I've tried also is that you go to your time limit, so you can give them such an amount of time, a certain amount of time, and then no matter where they are, you stop them and do like a shared reading. So you can read the book
Okay.
and the kids can follow along with you
Sure.
and just finish up the last couple pages or the last page or whatever it may be.
Okay.
That's one strategy.
like
I don't
that.
know.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, it's good
I
just to
like that
think
too.
about it beforehand,
Do
because
you
then
guys have enough?
and it's always so good for them too to hear what that fluent reading sounds like, and if that's kind of
Yeah.
something that's breaking up on their
Mhm.
running records,
They'll
then.
give you that opportunity.
Yeah.
Right.
So I didn't mean to take us off of looking through the texts,
No.
but I think
Yeah.
my gut is going toward the Lucky Fishing Hat anyway.
Mhm.
I like the story of that one.
Do you start
Normally I
to-
just give a sentence or two synopsis of what's happening. And then I think last time when I did this with a different group, like on page 6 where Danny says humph, like I show them that structure piece or that
Okay.
Yeah.
phrase
And it's
because.
repetitive, yeah.
Yep. Cause that just, they're always kind of
repeating.
confused as to
Yeah.
how you.
So do you wanna maybe start on your form, on your planner, just with kind of that, what that first sentence is going to be?
Yep.
What you're going to want
to
to
remind
say to
myself.
them.
Did you guys get a chance to read the whole book yet?
I didn't.
I didn't. How about we take the time to do that so we can co-construct that
Okay.
intro together?
Okay.
Does everybody feel okay with that?
Sure.
Or does somebody wanna read it to us?
I'll read it.
Okay.
I'm going fishing, said Danny. The lake is covered with ice, but I will cut a hole in the ice and catch the biggest fish in the lake. Danny got out his fishing gear. He put on his warmest clothes. I'm going to catch the biggest fish in the lake, said Ella as she put on a bright red hat. You can't fish in that hat, said Danny. Yes, I can. It's my lucky fishing hat, said Ella. It will help me catch the biggest fish. I am going to fish in this hat, and nothing you can say will stop me.
That's an interesting structure though,
That's true.
cause you know, when that
You
happens,
can
your
say.
students might say that, you know, it might be a place, we
Yeah.
even flag the book on page 4 or put a little note,
I'm gonna
page
put it
4.
in here.
The structure is unusual and the students might need a little support
Mhm.
with that rereading piece.
Like I
Especially,
did.
was it Jace who struggles with structure? Which one, or Eduardo, which one struggled with structure?
There was one of them ago.
Yeah, so I wonder if that's one that support when we get to that piece.
Okay, perfect. I got that.
I was wondering if they will have seen a lake covered with ice and that people walk out on the ice to go fishing.
Oh,
Right.
good question.
You know, just
Right,
to,
so
Yeah.
like background knowledge a
Right.
little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah,
So I could even
So
put
what
that
do
into
you
the
think?
orientation.
right?
right.
Jackie, do you have an idea of how we could write that? Throw something out there.
I don't, I just asked the question to myself. Have they been ice fishing before or know of someone that
Yeah,
does go ice
I
fishing?
can start with that.
And then that will give us information if they are familiar with it, you can kind of just keep going.
Yeah.
Right.
But if they're not, then that would be,
I might have to revisit some of the words or concepts in here too.
mm-hmm,
Mhm.
mm-hmm.
Or explain what it is, if nothing else, like just
Right.
explain.
Mhm.
So what are some of the concepts we think, like if they didn't know about ice fishing, are there a couple words in here we might have to talk to them about?
I think the next question would be if they've been fishing. Because if they've been fishing, then the only thing that's different is the lake freezes over.
Mhm.
And then you walk out on the lake instead of using a boat or
Right, and
you
drilling
drive
a
out.
hole.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and I was just thinking that this page 7, if they haven't, would just maybe be a good one to show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like if nothing else, you could just talk through this page.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
yep, we go sit out on the ice, we cut a hole. Say if no, is if they say no, like if all of them say no, we haven't been, or even one really, because
Right.
we would have to understand
Give them
it.
some background knowledge on it.
Just we'll show them page 6 and kind of talk through that.
Okay.
So thinking about language structures, I know we talked about